Hey Nelson, how's it going? I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else can.
Well, that's embarrassing.
That's okay.
I had my microphone off. So, anyways, I was just telling everybody they just saw me last night, but this isn't World Makers Consortium. We're going to talk G.I. Joe Classified. I brought the OG streaming team back together here. And let me bring out Rob. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me back.
No doubt. Well, I already started the show off nice and strong by not turning my microphone on. So that's always a good sign. But
I was freaking out because I thought it was on my end.
oh yeah. No doubt. So yeah, anyways, today we're gonna be talking G.I. Joe Classified. We haven't done this for God, what, 3-4 months or whatever?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. There's been a lot of releases and stuff like that. So just going around the circle here, what's new and exciting there, Scott? Just working away at the collection or what?
A little bit. It's kind of slow, but it's been mostly newer stuff coming into my collection. Vintage has been pretty slow lately, but picked up a few classifieds. Got the eel. Luckily, managed to get one of those off Amazon. I know they were pretty hard to get. Got the snow serpent for a deal at GameStop. They had them marked up at the wrong price, so I managed to get my snow serpent for only $33 instead of 55. So that was a nice win. But yeah, Joe's been coming in pretty hard. They're my kind of go-to line right now. A lot of other lines are not really offering too much. It's funny, I actually had picked up that new X-Men Marvel Legends 97 Wolverine yesterday and took it back to the store. Yeah, I looked at it. I'm like, there's not that many accessories for the same price. I can get a Joe figure with a ton of accessories. So back to the store it went and picked up Crimson Viper.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we know what that's going. I actually got that to the Viper 3-pack off Amazon. It was on for $115 instead of $139. So I was like, that's the cheapest I'm ever going to see that. So you might as well just pull the trigger. So we've got a deal worked out where I'm going to trade it.
Hold on. They have this Prime deal starting on the 10th, and apparently it's going to be on sale.
Oh, we'll see. The last big Amazon sale was so disappointing for toys.
It was.
It's like, oh my God, there's like nothing on sale for toys.
It's funny though, if you looked at it though, they've got a bunch of deals coming, tags on a lot of their figures, a lot of Joes. The only one for that 3-pack I saw was a third-party vendor though, with a marked up shipping rates and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if Amazon matches with their pricing.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey Bjorn, what's going on?
Below 100.
But yeah.
That'd be good.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a Viper 3-pack up off just because I don't want to pay over $100 for it. So if it goes under 100, then I might be getting it.
Yeah, for me, I'm good. I'm gonna trade one of the regular Vipers for that Crimson Viper Scotty grabbed, and then
right.
For me, I'll have one of everything. Right? Like I'm not like, I don't know. Rob's a little different. Like you're like completist on this line, where I think you're going for like everything, whereas I'm just kind of like dipping in where I kind of want to right now. But I don't know. I've got plans on doing like the big diorama thing like I do with everything else. So right now I'm like just waiting for those Crimson Guards to go on sale because I want like 4 or 5 of them at least to go with the 2 that I already have for sure.
You got to get across the border. Apparently, Ollies have been hitting with tons of Crimson Guards. So I think I can't remember the price. I thought they were like $9.99 each or something like that.
What's that work out to in Canadian dollars? Like what?
$14? No, like 14.
14?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dollars not that bad. It's awful, but it's
well.
I've got $15.
I've got a road trip coming up here. I'm planning before Christmas where I'm going to go down over to Michigan and see Wentzilla and a couple other guys from WMC. But
get to Ollie's.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm saving my pennies to hit up Ollie's, man, for sure. Because they've got like, I think that retro Iron Man's already there, and then like there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I do want, there's like the odd Marvel Legend I want, but I've been putting all my Marvel Legend money like into classified just so I'm just kind of done with that line, right? So I can finally move on. But it's so hard these days with like the prices of everything, and like you really do have to start picking and choosing because already like those figures that are coming out like what next next year, like they're already up like $2 a piece on Amazon if you pre-order them. So it's like, holy crap! Like, good lord, man.
Yeah, the price
But
isn't easy.
no, it's like super hard. But anyways, yeah. So with the line, and Rob, has his tank arrived yet, or are you guys just waiting on that?
No, there's not even nobody's announced a date yet. They're around
Oh,
December 1st, but there's been
okay.
no official date.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody last night on another stream there, and they thought that maybe it was going to show up like within the next like 3 to 4 weeks in the States. Because I don't know, there's a lot of rumors going around that some people have already gotten their like shipping notice, but I was like, that's kind of early. I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but it's like,
I've heard nothing.
but yeah, I don't know. Do all the HasLabs show up late in Canada, or do they all ship around the same time? You know?
I'm not sure. This is my first one, so I'm not.
Oh,
When I put it or when I got it, they said fall of
oh,
2023. So, but I think it's going to get closer to December.
yeah, I know. I think you're right. Actually,
Plus, there's that Hiss 3-pack, that Hiss tank or Hiss team fire 3-pack.
Fire Team 788.
Yeah, so I don't think they're supposed to be released till December 1st. So that's why I think they might be coordinating those with the Hiss tank.
Oh, that totally makes sense. But now, how many years are we into this line now? You think we've got to have what, like, at least 3? Are we 3 years into it or 4?
It's at least 3 because I was late getting started. I wasn't even really collecting anything, and I went to Toys R Us one day and I saw the first wave, but I didn't pick any up. And by the time I decided I want to start collecting them, they were on to the second wave, and that first wave was gone. So I think by now it's been about 3 years.
Yeah, I wasn't really, other than like missing out on Duke in the first wave, I wasn't really too upset about missing out on most of that. I was able to find like most of them later on for like actually pretty cheap on sale and stuff. But we've had quite a range of figures out so far for the line. But
I still don't have that Duke. I cannot find that Duke anywhere. I just got a toy show last week. I finally got Major Blood for $60.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't realize he was. I didn't realize he was that hard to find.
Oh yeah, because he was like the first waiver. So I've never even seen him. That was my first time seeing him. The guy had $60 on it, and I'm like, I see it going on Amazon and online, eBay, and whatever for like 150.
Ooh,
so
yeah, that's what I saw. The Cobra Eels right now on Amazon. I'm seeing them for like $160. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, not Army building those guys. Sorry,
not too much.
But you guys kind of gave me a quick list of your top 3. I guess you could pick probably like 20 out of the line that could be your favorites. But I think if we start with Rob's list here, you really like the Survival Outback.
Yeah, I love looking at this figure on the shelf.
What do you like about this guy? What makes it your?
Well, this is my first figure I ever went out and took some photography with too. I don't know the gun. I think that gun that he comes with looks awesome. The accessories are great. I just like they have the outfit on them, the camel pants and the white survival shirt, just like the 80s version of the 3 3/4 inch. I don't know. I've never had anything bad to say about this figure. I thought the head sculpt was great. The hair was great. Just everything about it is, for me, it'd be one of the figures I can't say anything bad about.
Well, it's funny for me too, because you compare it to like say some Marvel Legends that have come out, and to me, this line, what caught me right away was like it's just practical, because everything that you see there on his left hand side, it's all stows away. It's like it makes sense, right? It's not, he doesn't have all this crap that he actually can't carry on him. But I think that's like kind of the nice thing about like an Army or just like a GI Joe line in general. It's just that's how it's supposed to work, right? And then your other, you were like you're a shipwreck guy, so you like, and I loved this figure too when it came out.
Yeah, I was super pumped when they first put out the rendered images of Shipwreck. One of my favorite characters. Thought they did a fantastic job with this one too. Just another one I couldn't say anything bad about. I did a video on this guy. which did really well because I think a lot of people were checking this guy out. So
But
I
he's
kind of maybe would have rather maybe a second head sculpt instead of just that hair piece. But other than that, the way it looks there on screen just looks fantastic.
yeah, the only issues I had with this figure when I got it was like trying to get that like parrot kind of mounted on that. Like for me, it was really like the pin on my parrot seemed really soft, so it was like really hard to get it into that like pinhole. But when I finally got it in there, I was like, oh my god, I'm like never taking that out again. Like holy crap, that was like a mission, dude. But no, yeah,
Yeah,
just an all around great character, and I think this guy's really popular too because he was featured in the cartoon like constantly. Like what was he like? He was pretty much the feature of like almost every other cartoon that or episode of the cartoon, and got into all
yeah,
sorts of goofy hijinks. One of my favorites is when they dress up like the Cobra officers and they're trying to get through the factory, and then
yeah.
the trap trigger, and then the parrot says the password, and I'm like, how? Why does that computer recognize? Like, is there a Cobra officer that has the exact same voice as a parrot? Like, how did it recognize his voice? But yeah, just all sorts of goofy stuff in that old cartoon. And then you guys shared a common favorite, and this figure, yeah, I agree. Awesome figure, man. This is like definitely one of the highlights of what's out so far for me.
Yeah, this guy, Sergeant Slaughter, the face head sculpt was I thought was fantastic. They got the chin like perfect. He's got the big shoulder pieces on there, so it really bulks him up. The glasses look fantastic. They stay on him great. The hat fits perfectly. They just a tremendously awesome job with Sergeant Slaughter, and I was super paid more for it than what I should have because I thought it was going to be a little more rare. But no, I'm happy to have him. He's sitting right in the middle at the very top because to me he's the one that stands out over everybody.
Yeah, and I love too how they gave him like the pointing finger and stuff, so he can be like that. You know, he's supposed to be their drill instructor or whatever like that. So it's like, yeah, and that's another thing they've done with this line too. Like just the amount of accessories. Like I honestly think they took like stuff away from like Marvel Legends and Star Wars to put it into this line because like a lot of these, like maybe other than like Copperhead and like a few other figures I've found are just like kind of meh. But no, yeah, they really knocked it out of the park with this guy, man. I
Yeah,
almost bought the Valorverse one until they announced that they were actually doing a Hasbro one because I was like, come on, like let's go with Slaughter. And that seems to be kind of like the theme behind the line too. It almost like they're taking like most popular and moving down. Like I'm pretty sure Raptor is going to be one of the last classified ever made.
I don't know. Hey, I'd buy a Raptor.
Oh man, I
He
don't know.
was
I
fun.
don't.
I loved him as a kid. He was good.
Oh
He was a
really?
bird
Yeah.
guy. Oh yeah.
Never liked Birdman. I always thought he was like a Batman villain or something when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I would use him with my Batman figures because he just seemed like a Batman villain to me. Hey, Mud
I still
Scuff,
got that guy.
man. What's that?
I got a Raptor. It's just sitting right beside me on my shelf. He's looking at me.
So one of Scotty's other favorites of the line was this guy, and I totally agree. I haven't got my hands on him yet. I don't know. I just kind of like I'm dragging my feet on this. I shouldn't be because I'm pretty sure he's going to get really expensive.
He's
So
great.
yeah, oh no, it's awesome the amount of accessories that came with this guy. And I've actually pulled the 3D prints to just make that standalone rocket unit, and it
Yeah.
actually looks pretty darn close. So somebody's already scanned it or thrown it through SolidWorks and put up the STL files. But
Nice.
no, man, just the detail on the face and stuff. Like this guy looks like he's just been through hell. Like he's just a badass figure, man.
Well, that's the thing. Like they put so much into the sculpt, and they did like so much work with it that there's a real character story with the figure. And I like that they've updated it. The missile launcher, like really smart. It's a shame that the treads don't move, but obviously that would have kicked the price point up. But I love that they've made it like an interactive drone type of a thing rather than just a stationary one. Adds to the play features and the playability of the toy, and like the way the helmet fits on perfectly. It looks supernatural when it's on there. It doesn't look like it's this big bobbly thing on top of his head like a lot of helmets look like. It's just such a cool looking figure. And I mean, the fact that he's only got the one sidearm is fine because he comes with all the blast effects. And I've seen a lot of people take some of the blast effects and use them for their bazooka because all the ports fit.
Oh yeah.
So you can put the launching thing go on the end of bazooka's bazooka, and you can spread it around a little bit. So he's just awesome.
Well, that makes sense for a weapon platform guy. Like he's not going to bring like an AK and Uzi and like, a bunch of other shit into battle, right? He's going to be like, "Hey, I got my little."
I mean, they could have thrown a couple like ports on there for additional weapon storage, maybe. But I mean, I think for how much this guy cost, he was totally worth the money. They didn't really need to do any more. Like, I think I love Serpentor, but I thought the price is a little bit high for what Serpentor was. I thought they could have been down maybe $15-20, whereas I think the price point on this guy was bang on.
Yeah, and I keep hearing really other rumors going around the internet that they're gonna do like a vintage card Serpentor. So I've been like, I'm never a big fan of his chariot. Like I didn't really, when I think of GI Joe, I try to gravitate more towards like traditional military vehicles and stuff like that. I think even as a kid, that's where they started to lose me, is when they went like, Battle Force 2000, like super neon, like. It's just like, whoa, like this isn't really for me anymore.
It's funny. At the same time, I do want a sci-fi figure. I loved sci-fi as a kid, so I'd love for them to do like the Laser Trooper. Like I think pretty new.
He seemed to work though. He was green and silver, but it wasn't like that, like hot pink or red mohawk.
The yeah, exactly, or the Eco Warriors line.
And I was like, oh my god, what the hell are they doing? They turn the HISS tank into the septic tank and all this other crap. It was just like, yeah, this is too much for me. But your last pick here was the retro card Snake Eyes, which I still don't have. I was gonna get that 2-pack with Timber, and then I hesitated, and it's still around. But the only Snake Eyes I have is the one from the stupid movie. So.
Yeah, that's still not the worst figure. Like I think that that movie one might be better than the first release, first wave Snake Eyes.
The movie ones aren't quite 6-inch though, man. There's something off. They feel like they're a little bit shorter because I ended up getting one of the Night Creepers from that line, and
but that was from the core line, which was they were smaller, but they don't have the same articulation and they're a little bit shorter. They're the 5-inch, but the bigger 6-inch line that is violently peg warming at GameStops and Toys R Us. They're roughly the same size. I haven't bought any of them just because. I mean,
I will never.
Got 3. Yeah,
I will never buy any of those.
No, they're awful.
You know what? Man. I lied. I have the Scarlet just because I needed a placeholder Scarlet, and I got it for one of those $5 Fridays at GameStop. So it's a decent enough figure because I didn't get the first wave Scarlet. So until they come out with that retro card one next spring, she's going to be my stand-in Scarlet. But it's a fine figure. The rest of them, like that Storm Shadow, is just a nightmare.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to get the other one because I always like the Snake Eyes better with like that, like
the visor
thing rather than like the goggles. But saying that though, I almost bought that Desert Commando Snake Eyes the other day, just to customize him into a Desert Scorpion because he's almost there. Like you just had to add some darker brown paint and stuff and like. Put a band with like those same little things that Dusty has, and you'd have your Desert Scorpion. Like the goggles are right, the mouth, the face mask is right. Like it's almost there.
You should definitely pick that one up. Definitely pick that one up. I was skeptical about it at first, but when I saw the photos online, but when I got it in my hand, did a video, I thought it's a great figure.
Well, and the accessories it comes with too, and I think it's just a regular price figure.
Yep.
Because like he's got like 2-3 swords, guns, like even if you needed extra accessories for like some other characters, like there's so many accessories with that. I was actually surprised for like a single card for sure. Yeah. But getting into my top picks,
to go back to that Snake Eyes though, the reason I like that one, it's just perfect. Like it's clean, simple. They executed everything really well. The articulation on it, like several of my figures have like tight hip joints, tight knees. Like, and I've put them in the warm water baths and heated them up with a hair dryer, and they still won't loosen up. This one glides. It's just so nice. And
Yeah, well, I find that really weird with the classified line because I talked to lots of guys, including yourself, and it's like, hey, watch out for this figure. It's got this, and it's like, well, mine was fine, but
yeah,
yet, like when I got Zorana, she had that stupid problem where you go to bend her arm too far and it just pops off.
Hmm.
And I think it was Rob or someone I was talking to, and he didn't have that same issue with that same figure. So it's depends
yeah,
if it's a
no,
Monday or a Friday figure, man. Really, I think it's just luck of the draw with that. I was really disappointed, like not to rag on it, but I was really disappointed with Copperhead when I got him because my paint apps weren't like great. Like there was a bit of miss it. There's a bit of miss here and there, and I was like, goddamn freaking windowless packaging, man. Like it used to be. Well, they're going back to it now. I guess the fans
yeah,
won on that one, but it was nice to like because I would do that, especially if you're going. You got to be careful with McFarlane's, thank God, because you go in there and it's like sometimes the eyes are funny on them and stuff.
yeah,
You're like, you got to pick out the right guy. It's like, oh, why is Batman like cross-eyed? What's going on here? But moving along here into my picks, mine are probably like a little more like based on like more childhood favorites. But I love the Crimson Guard, man. I picked up a second one. I plan on picking up at least two more, man. Like that is just such a good figure. Like, and it like you were saying about the other one, like it moved. It just feels good. All the accessories work. I love that sword he's got. Like it's just cool, man.
yeah.
I love that whole like Crimson Guard motif. But like that was probably one of my like the figure I would grab first when I was a kid to play with for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
But did you guys have?
Yeah, those German guards look wicked, and to army build those would be awesome. I've only got I got one of the regular and one retro card, but that's pretty much it for now. But yeah, Crimson Guards are definitely wicked.
It's funny.
Yeah, and
I had one of the regular. I have one of the regular, and I had the retro card too. But I couldn't reconcile the color difference to have them unless one was going to be the leader of the squad or something like that. So I ended up selling off my retro card one and just stuck with the regular release.
oh,
They're both awesome though.
was it like super different? The shade of red they used? I heard
Yeah,
it was.
the shade of red on the retro card is quite a bit brighter, and they do a mostly silver face plate instead of the black and silver. So it's like kind of like a chrome and a silver. So
Gotcha.
they're both awesome looking. It's just simple preference really. And I think the holster on the leg is red and black instead of just all black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even
So
actually realize there was a difference. I knew I had heard there was a variation in the red, but I didn't know if it was drastic enough that you could actually tell. But apparently
yeah,
you can. So
yeah,
Oh, if you're gonna army build it, do use the ones you've already started.
yeah, no
A
doubt.
lot easier
And
to
then
get to.
this was another one that this is like one of my favorites. And I think it's just the orange and the blue that makes it pop. But they did a fantastic job, I thought, on this Alley Viper figure. Like the shield is great, and I've got mine set up kind of like he's got his shield in front of him with his gun kind of pointed over the shield, like he's doing like a riot maneuver. So I don't know. I found this one like was the most fun to kind of like mess around with when I got it, pose it, and sort of play with it.
I
which
still
cracks
have
me
not
up a little
unboxed
bit.
mine.
Oh no, I don't
What's
have
that?
one. The
You
colors
don't
are
I
have
have
it?
I have about 8 figures that I have still not unboxed, and this is one of them. And the Crimson, or the twins. I still haven't unboxed those yet.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
That's actually quite surprising. Because I go, well, I don't know. I guess if it's not your favorite, it's not your favorite. But no, I tore into this guy right away. But I do the same thing. Like you leave, something shows up on Amazon, check it out. You throw it on a pile, you throw it on the table, and then eventually it's like, oh, I went out toy shopping this weekend. You get this like little like opening pile on the go, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you crack into them. But I don't know. I
I
tend
think
to just do it all at once.
that's the thing for me is like I won't necessarily have the space or the time to do it, but as long as I know I have it, then I don't have to worry about trying to pay the late fees for trying to pick it up after it's all gone. So yeah, I've got a few that have been kicking around for a while that I'll get around to opening up once I reorganize my shelves a bit.
Well, it actually worked out in my favor when I decided to sell off all my Black Series Star Wars because I still had about 8 or 9 9 still in box that I hadn't even opened yet. And I'm like, oh, right on. I'm gonna get like retail or more for these guys because I didn't open them. But yeah, that's the only way it worked out. And then my other one, this guy, man. And I know Rob talked about it in the chat we had before, but this figure was so cool, man. I love this rock and roll figure. And I love that they included, I should have had the picture with his like rock and roll hands. But that is like the first thing I did when I got this guy open. And the other thing I want to talk about too, when I got this guy, this was the beginning of a trend of figure swaps that I've been getting off of Amazon on G.I. Joe Classified. I opened this guy up and it was like some stupid character from Star Wars with like a 0 on his face or something. Then I ordered the correct, I forget what else it was. Oh, it was Cover Girl. I got Cover Girl, and someone had swapped it out for like a Ray figure from the Black Series.
Oh man!
I got a Crimson Bat, and it was like a wrestling figure, and I forget what the very last one I got. But I had this whole cycle for like weeks where I was buying a classified figure. I'm like, it's not going to happen again. And it was like literally almost 4 times in a row that I got a figure swap, and I was like, on Amazon, really? So I don't know.
Amazon's bad for that right now, like really, really bad. You started out with Walmart, people just exchanging or returning figures because nobody knows any better at Walmart at the customer service counter. Yeah. But yeah, Amazon, I haven't bought a figure now off Amazon just for that reason. Like
I'm super nervous that I'm going to get that Viper 3-pack and it's going to be a figure swap, but I'll just keep ordering replacements like I did with the other ones. Like I ordered they're good about it, but then you've got to send the one back. But I swear when I got Rock and Roll, he looked sealed. Like they must have done a hell of a job. Like they even tied the other figure in and everything and put like, I don't know what accessories. It was like those little plastic cocktail swords and stuff. They put it back in the box and slid it in. So it sounded like there was stuff in the package. Like the one was like a really clever swap, but it looked sealed, man. So now when I get them, I flip them open it, or I flip them and look at the bottom to see if the tape's been cracked on the bottom first. But man, that was like so disappointing when I cracked this guy open and the figure wasn't inside. I was so pissed off. I was like, oh my
I can imagine. It hasn't happened to me yet, and I hope it doesn't. But
no, I hope it doesn't either. But it's easy. Yeah,
that would be devastating.
Oh, dude, it's easy enough to do the exchange, but still, I got to take it back to the post office and for it to happen almost 4 times in a row. Like I was at the point until I forget what figure it was that I ordered. I think I finally ordered Dusty or something. He showed up and he was actually in the package. I was like, thank God, finally something I ordered is in the package.
Of all the figures, it had to be Dusty.
Yeah.
That was one of my letdown figures from last year.
See, everybody shits on Dusty, but I don't know, man. It was one of my favorite ones as a kid too. But
me too. That's why I was so excited.
His gun's pretty boring, and his helmet doesn't fit right. Like you really got to squish his helmet on, or it just kind of slowly like.
You do the 2 goggles. You do the spare goggles trick, and it sticks on.
Oh no, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, you put his extra goggles on his head, and then you put the helmet on over his head, and it stays on pretty good.
Oh,
but yeah, I just thought he's kind of bland. Like I love Dusty; he was one of my favorites as a kid too. And when I got him, he was kind of like, okay, he exists.
He's Dusty, yeah. There he is.
He's there.
Yeah,
he's at the back of my shelf.
No, I can see that. No, I was irritated that the rubber helmet. Why doesn't it fit him right? But mine, you squish it on really tight, and it like slowly creeps back up, and then it looks silly. It looks like he's one of those guys that wears their hats up on top of their head, like not quite on your head. I don't know how to describe it. But so those are our favorites from the first round of the line here. And now we're gonna get into talking about some of these exclusives, man.
No.
So we got this exclusive. This is a Habs, and it's sold out already, of course. So for me, I don't know. I'm not like trying to be sexist or anything, but it wasn't a big deal to miss out on it because I don't necessarily like miss that because you never saw it as a kid, right? Like, so for me, this line is very like childhood based or whatever. So I don't know. I would like to have this pack just to add some like variation to the army, and I love all the effects they've got, but I don't know. This trend, they seem to be getting into this real hardcore trend of like doing these exclusives, which is kind of a bummer, actually. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't love exclusives generally. I don't, and that's with any line. I just think, why make it harder for the buyer to purchase it? Like, I had the same problem with Masters, with the Walmart exclusivity. Same with the Target exclusives for a lot of lines. It's just it like I'm sure there's a business rationale behind it, but making it more difficult for a collector to buy is just going to sour them on the line if they don't have better access. And being in Canada, we have even that much more trouble getting this stuff than the states does, and even they have a lot of trouble because there's so many bots working the different sites pulling all the figures. So I don't like it. I would love for it to stop. I think it's one of the biggest negatives about collecting, even for a casual collector.
No doubt, no doubt.
I
But
saw
we
some
are
pictures. That set's actually starting to show up at GameStop, I
Yep.
guess, in Ontario.
Yep.
oh,
I
okay.
don't have that set. If I have the opportunity, like I didn't rush out to pre-order or anything. If I see it and I have the opportunity to get it for a decent price, I'll probably pick it up. But as of right now, I don't have that one. But so we'll see if I ended up getting it or not.
No, you
Yeah, I
keep
don't.
your eyes open, man. They're coming. But we're being invaded tonight by a good buddy of mine. And welcome to the show, Famine Studios. What's going
What's
on,
going
brother?
on, everybody? Hello, hello.
So
Yeah, we're-
Famine's here tonight because he doesn't know what a GI Joe is. He was asking me earlier. He goes, "What is this Guy Joe or Guy Joe thing you
Is that
keep
is
talking
that like a
about?"
star? Is that like a spin-off of He-Man, or how's that work?
Yeah, Guy Joe. Guy
Guy
Joe.
Joe.
But
No,
we definitely yeah, but thanks for popping on, buddy. They definitely gotta you can tell us what's up with these action figures, man. You got a keen eye for what's hot and what's not.
yeah, I
So
actually did collect classified for a hot minute, but it just became too much FOMO and too many trying, like you guys were saying, trying to beat the bots, trying to beat the guys that
Yep.
were at Target Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. made it impossible. And I'm more of a 1/18 scale guy myself now, so anything that I buy Joe is going to be retro or custom cast for things like that.
nice.
right on. And you guys probably don't know Famine. This is my good buddy Scott and Rob. These guys are actually local to me, so you're hanging out with a bunch of crazy Canucks tonight, man. It's
Hey,
the
cheers to
opposite.
that.
It's the opposite of
just-
WMC. It's usually the other way around. Going
It's an
crazy
inva-
Canadian.
It's a Canadian bacon invasion. I'm John Candy.
There you go. Nothing wrong with
Nice.
that. John Candy was a legend and a gentleman.
He was.
And then speaking of exclusives, man, I seriously want this set, dude. Like, I love this black and red color scheme on these soldiers. Like, what?
It's nice looking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got a range viper in it, but I'd take it anyway, Scott?
Yeah. Well, you can always get rid of it.
Yeah, I know. I think I know someone that buy it off me, but no, I'd love to have I don't know. That's one of my go-to color schemes when I do customs and stuff is the black and red kind of motif. But no, this will go so well. Like if you didn't already spend enough on the HasLab Hiss tank, then you can spend more money and you get the soldiers that go with it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get this one.
Of
somehow.
course you are.
That's one of the great things about the Joe line, though. I will say this as far as classified goes, is they get the army builder aspect of it. Like if they didn't comprehend the army builder aspect of it, they'd be throwing money away. So the fact that they're coming out with all this Cobra, multi-packs like they were for Marvel Legends when they were doing the AIM soldiers and the Hydra soldiers, like they've upped the ante and done 3-packs now, which is, I feel, should be obvious. You do larger numbers of troop builders, you get them at a fair price spread across the package. But I mean, they're just including, they're giving you everything but the kitchen sink with these packs, and that's great for the collectors of classified that are able to get their hands on those. I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to just go to HasbroPulse.com at any given time and order troop builders. It's beyond me, but I think that they've got the right idea, producing these multi-packs for collectors and for army builders too, because it's like that's easy money.
Oh yeah, well, and I wish they would do what they did with Legends, where they had that Hydra troop builder pack, and they had the singles too before that, where that were at a cheaper price point than a standalone Marvel Legends. Like you got a little pistol with it. You didn't get extra hands. You didn't get fuck all. It was just for building armies. So I wish they would do that where it was just a bare bones Viper or a Cobra Soldier and just put it at a lower price point, or the 3-pack that is at a lower price point, like, $75 instead of 100, like you're paying $25 a figure or something. I wish they would go that route. But this next exclusive or whatever the hell it is kind of bummed me out because I don't like the vehicle at all, but I really, really want the figure.
I like both. I wanted both, but I just, I don't have space for vehicles really. Like the
I don't know.
But
You can't put the words trouble and bubble together and let me take it seriously. It just doesn't happen.
You can't have the trouble bubble, man. You gotta call it the Televiper. You can't call it the trouble bubble, or you can't take it seriously.
there's a little fight pod.
This is one I did pre-order. I did get it in the mail already, but I have not unboxed it. It's probably going to be my a video this week.
Nice.
All my new figures that I get right now, like all these everything, I can only open them if I'm going to do a video. So why there's like a long list of them right now, but this guy is this one's this week. So
well, you're gonna have to start doing a video like every day, dude, so you can get all your GI Joes open by Christmas.
If the wife lets me quit my job, then I'll start doing that.
Oh man, yeah, go ahead, fam.
The inclusion in that set too of the different ethnicities on the head sculpts is awesome because it brings diversity to your toy shelf. Number one, number two, it lets kids and this is a mainly adult collector line. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yep.
But any kids that get their hands on this or younger people that get their hands on this is they are closer to being able to make them have themselves or somebody that looks like them as an action figure, which for the longest time you could not get with toys unless you went after specifically, like if you were you're an African American kid, you'd have to get a Black Panther or a Blade. Now you can have army builders and Hydra agents, or not Hydra agents but shield agents, and Cobra troopers now, and Joe figures. Like it's really cool that they include that too. It's a small thing, but in the grand scheme of things, like that's a great gesture, number one, and number two, it allows for diversity on your toy shelf.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the figures that was going to make my top 3 almost was Torpedo. Like I thought that was a really great way that they've done that. Is he didn't really look like anybody in the original figure, but in the new one they made him clearly Hawaiian and really leaned into it. And it's just an amazing figure, great sculpt, and it was one that I was passing on originally, and I'm really glad I picked it up.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And it was funny. I laughed at that drama that came out when they did the Hydra and Shield 2-pack. There's people, well, they better not put that like ethnic head on the Hydra soldier because they're fascists and they would never have those people in their faction. I was like, oh, you're overthinking it, man. It's just a toy. It's just a fucking toy. Like, oh my god. But there was like just such an uproar when they released that Hydra Shield 2-pack, and I was like, oh my god. Here we go. And that's what I thought when I saw that, but I haven't heard a peep out of it. But it's probably because it's not opposing factions. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just funny how people like perceive things or need to create like a situation out of nothing. But these next 3 figures, man, what is the deal? Are these like Hasbro Pulse, or were these only Comic-Con exclusive?
No, they're up on Pulse. I don't know what the distribution is going to be like in Canada, but I know they're up on Pulse right now and they're available.
Yeah, to me, I don't mind. Like these 3 would probably be a pretty easy pass for me, just because I'm a big fan of the original Alley Viper. I have no idea who she is at all, and
she's a brand new character for the line.
The proportions to me on that figure look strange. Like, I don't know. It just it looks animated or something to me, does it not?
Which one?
The female figure on the far right of your screen there.
Yeah.
Like there's some weird going on with her arms or something. Like maybe it's just the sculpting. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's the way the elbow joint is posed in that picture. If you look, it's like compressed.
Okay. It just looks really cartoony. It almost looks like that last G.I. Joe cartoon that was on TV where they were like, was it G.I. Joe Renegades or something like that?
Yeah, it was a good cartoon.
No, it was a good cartoon for sure.
But yeah, very stylized for sure.
Yeah, like it just it looks like they came at it from a stylized angle. But yeah, it might just be how the joints work, especially if they got that that full bend in the arm. Because I noticed that in a lot of figures, sometimes it looks like super weird. And then this next one, I don't know. Oh, what's that, Rob?
those were the Walmart exclusives, I believe. Those 3, and they just announced the next 3 that had that Tunnel Rat repaint. But so far, out of now all 6 figures for that Walmart exclusive, I really have no interest in any of them. Like with the picture you just showed, that Mole Rat,
Yeah.
not interested. The Viper or the not interested. Like just those 3, I could care less.
Well, and the one guy, like, and the one soldier, the one he called the Mole Rat, like, he just doesn't look. He looks like a Resident Evil character. He doesn't even look like GI. He doesn't even look like a Cobra guy or GI Joe or whoever he's supposed to be. He looks like a hazmat.
I did read somewhere where someone had a theory that it had something to do with the Night Force line, because most of the Night Force lines, the Night Force figures that have come out for classifieds have got gas masks. So there's, I think someone was theorizing that maybe there's some sort of a, I don't know, fantastical zombie, like bioweapons type of a thing. But you know, I don't know how well that flies now that Tunnel Rat's out, and I don't believe the Tunnel Rat repaint that's coming has a gas mask. But I have to look at the renders again.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I have no idea what their lore is behind that.
No, I don't know. Well, this might be a new thing because I don't remember Mole Rat from the original line at all. I don't know if he's an existing character, and I think he's a new one. So I don't know if they're trying to build out a storyline for this for the Night Force subline, or maybe it's its own thing.
I don't know. I don't think there's really any comics or anything tied to that, which is unfortunate because we discussed it last night too. We were talking about different toy lines and like how people do these Kickstarters and get things going. I mean, G.I. Joe's like a built-in lore. Like, it's been around for 100 years. They've rebooted it, comic books, like the whole 9 yards. But it always helps to kind of, for me anyway, to tie it to some kind of lore or create my own lore for it. And this, like I said, he doesn't feel like that one character doesn't feel like he fits the Joe line at all. And then these next 3, this is going to be an easy pass for me, man. I don't have any interest in this at all.
Double dipping on that, yeah.
No. Like,
they look
to me,
decent, I've got the originals, so I'm good.
Yeah. Like, the originals to me are better than these repaints. Like, I can see if you're like spazzing out because you're a completist and you got to have them all, but I don't know, man. That's all I can really say about these.
See, that's how they try.
The case they come in is better than the figures.
What was that?
Yeah, the way that
the case they packaged in the like briefcase looking thing, it looks pretty neat. But the figures, they're nothing special.
Yeah,
that's how they loop people in with the gimmick packaging. And you know, I'm a sucker for a gimmick, but I'm also, you know, I love a weird fact about me, which is useless, but I love kukri. It's my favorite type of knife, and that's the one that she's holding. She's got 2 of those. Same with the other female character that we just showed a couple of slides ago with the 3-pack up on Hasbro Pulse. Having that kukri on there, that would get me into buying them again if I was even remotely like still in 6-inch. I'd be like, no, I have to have those because it comes with the cool knife. That's really sad that I'm willing to spend $30 on a big cool knife.
I just want the little plastic knife. Give me the little plastic knife. And then I was sort of excited when this one was announced because I missed the first round of them and he's expensive now. But then I found out he was going to be expensive anyway because he's like this huge deluxe figure.
Yeah, they've done him, like 4 times now?
I can never find a decent price Zartan ever, but they've got this guy. This is the one with the blue armor coming out.
So this is the retro card Zartan. I did a review unboxing on this one. This is my favorite version. Just because of that blue. It's like the first out of all of them they've done, it's the first one that actually goes back to the cartoon. But this isn't the one that has all this isn't the Master of Disguise one. The Master of Disguise is the one that he actually turns color and has all a ton of accessories.
What? He actually changes color in the sun?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got that sexy crop top armor on, so
midriff for days.
Yeah, it's the 80s warfare, man. That's what you wear. Mm-hmm. So, Rob, did you get in on this sucker or what?
Oh, of course.
So, what did that end up coming out? Like, what was the end price tag on that Canadian?
Oh,
like, don't tell me.
No.
Your wife's not
watching. $12.
About 400.
Came to $4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$400.
Well, it's about 400. That's shipped
That's
and
cool,
everything.
though, man. That's actually a really cool vehicle. I don't know. I just
We
like
only live
you can,
once, right?
yeah. You can gripe all day like long about prices, like, but in the end, it's just if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. So, but getting into the San Diego Comic Con stuff that they released, I was super stoked when I saw that they were finally getting into this. Like the guys with the full kitted out pets and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. Like obviously we have Snake Eyes and Timber, but like it's cool to see this because like if they're doing this, Law and Order are coming. Maybe Spearhead and Max, like all those guys that have like the animal companions. Like we already got. Like I love Crocmaster. He was almost going to be on my top 3 favorite characters of what they released so far, but just like that, him and the big giant crocodile and that big meat hook. Like I was like, yeah, that's a figure, man. But
Crocmaster's one of the ones
this
I
damn
still haven't
close. Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, Crocmaster's one of the ones I picked up. I still haven't opened him up. He's sitting on my to open pile. I don't have
you haven't opened Croc. Oh, dude, you got to open Crocmaster, dude. He's awesome. So good.
On the bag and everything.
Just don't let your son see the little alligators he comes with. I had to hide mine from my son. He comes with like 2 baby alligators, a regular one and a little albino one. I'm like, no, man. I'm on my 5th or 6th Grogu figure because my son will snag them, and they're gone, just totally gone. I'm like, dude, that's like 6, bro. I don't even like the character that much. You made me buy him 6 times.
My son helped himself to a bunch of my classified weapons a little while ago. I've been getting them back slowly over the last like 6 months. I just got the last one back about 2 weeks ago because he pulled his winter coat out and my Commando and Timber's sidearm for Snake Eyes was in there. So thanks.
Well, at least you got them all back, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe
that Crocmaster, man. I had that in my cart, like in Walmart 3 times, and I walked down the aisle and I hemmed and hawed because again, I'm not doing 6-inch, but I really wanted that Croc, and I was like, maybe it'll go on clear because every once in a blue something will come into store. I don't know how it is up in Canada, but like sometimes it'll hit the States here and be on clearance like the following week. It's the strangest damn thing. So I'm like back and forth. Finally, I was like, okay, let me go check and see if they're on clearance. Completely sold out. So it was my fault. I missed out on it because I do a lot of Jurassic Park stuff and I love having dinosaurs, and crocodiles in a swamp for diorama would fit right into that type of stuff. So I'd love to have that crocodile, but I'd also have the 6-inch figure. I'm sure I could find somebody above me right now that would probably want the extra figures for parts, but of course,
we don't get the sales, we don't get the clearance like that at all. But I did hold on Crocmaster until he was on for like half price at Toys R Us because they were shelf warming for ages. So and we had that problem with the Baroness and the Coil Cycle where nobody was buying it for like $60. So I managed to get that for 32 because I only really wanted the figure. I got no use for the bike. So I waited for Croc and got him for $32 a little while ago.
So. They evaporate that Coil Cycle Baroness set evaporated in the States. That was back when I was trying to collect them.
Yeah.
I never saw it at retail, but somehow immediately the Tuesday that the shipment came in on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace, those sons of bitches were showing up $150, $200, and they were selling. The listings were going, and I'm just like, man, I cannot.
Yep.
I can't compete with this.
Yep.
No, man. But you were talking about that repaint for Tunnel Rat, and for me, it's just, man, it's gonna be a pass. I don't care.
It's weird. I don't know what it is, but I like this one more than the standard one. I don't know if it's like I don't like the face paint application on the regular release.
See, I love that. That's exactly like the original.
I just don't think they executed it. Yeah, I know, but I just don't think they executed it quite right. I think this one looks a little bit nicer.
When I saw the picture, I was actually kind of mad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Why you want that one?
No, I want the one that I just got, like the first version. That's my Tunnel Rat. No, these repaints have to stop.
They got to make their money, right?
Do something, but like, it's all the same accessories, and now they changed the lights on the flashlights to go on his backpack. They're green on the first version, and now they're red. So you're gonna go through tunnels with red lights shining around. Like, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
They got to switch up something. If you're going to just do a repaint, they got to switch up something.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did the same with Tiger Force, right? Like Tiger Force was pretty much all just repaints, and it's the same as like the old line. And I generally am trying to stay away from the repaints and just stick to that, like not get into the sublines as much as I can. I did pick up the Tiger Force Duke and Ram cycle, but that's going to Nelson because I don't want any Tiger Force because otherwise it's just going to be a slippery slope. But at least with Outback, I mean, they did follow the old recipe and gave them like the red hair or the white hair and the orange shirt. And I mean, they've done these sublines in the old in the original vintage series. It's an easy money turn for them, and I think some of the figures in the old vintage line I thought were executed really, really well. And this is easy money for Hasbro. It's the same as McFarlane pumping out the Rebirth Superman mold every 2 weeks. There's like, it's easy money. And at least with those, you can kind of go, okay, I want this or I don't want that. And
see, for me though, yeah, I get it. But
like if they'd only done the Night Force Tunnel Rat and then they never ever did a regular edition, then it'd be really frustrating. But
I don't know, like
options.
Well, I was gonna say, like for me, I didn't get into GI Joe as a kid until Tiger Force and Python Patrol was like the main thing. So for me, I would get these figures as a kid, and I didn't know there was like an original Duke and an original like Lifeline, original Dusty. Like I just thought, oh, these are Tiger Force. These are the new guys. I didn't until later. You don't put 2 and 2 together. Oh, they're just recycling figures and repainting them. Like whatever. Yeah. But that's kind of why I gravitate toward. Like I don't mind like the Python Patrol stuff. I don't like the Crimson Guard so much. I passed on him just because he's like the original was even dumb because where they put like mostly yellow on them and stuff. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. But I do like that burgundy with the gray kind of cross hatching camouflage stuff. But I don't know, each their own, right? But I was really stoked with this set coming out because this is like such a good army builder.
Yeah,
that's
like dope. I've got 2 of these on pre-order. So
I just got mine this week or just past week.
You got yours already?
Yeah, I got a guy.
No doubt. I need to talk to your guy.
I newly acquired guy that's I met off Facebook, and he gets the stuff right from Hasbro Pulse, so a little sooner than it hits retail. So yeah, I drove to his place the other day and got this. So stay tuned for an unboxing and review.
That's amazing. I wish that they would include more accessories like accessory packs like that with other lines, be it Marvel Legends, be it the Star Wars Black Series, even vintage, especially vintage collection for me because I'm selfish. But like the closest we've gotten is the Jets with the heavy Mandalorian, and that's because they had the cast pieces from Iron Man. It's the same. I believe it's the same jets that they use on Iron Man, same port system. But man, those are sweet.
Well, this is a bit. I love this too because as a kid, this was the first thing I ever ordered away for, like saved up flag points or whatever it was to get it. So the idea behind this in the 80s was you sent a file card in with your name, like your specialty, and like basically they sent you back a GI Joe that was you. Like you could use your name and come up with your own, like, what do they call it, like a alias or whatever, or code name. Yeah, your code name. You would fill out all this paperwork crap, and I think it was like a few flag points or something. But I remember it being like one of the first figures I ever ordered away to get. So I like put my code name, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm putting my real name. I get to be a GI Joe, yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. That's why I like that set, and I want the 2 because I plan on doing some world building with GI Joes once I amass enough. So it'll be nice to have like a little squad of like. And I don't like the green shirts in G.I. Joe. Like, if it's G.I. Joe, they shouldn't just be like regular army dudes, like coming to fight with all these like super elite army force dudes with like jetpacks and stuff. It should be like guys on that level, you know what I mean? Or at least given the same equipment, not just like
you gotta have a little cannon fodder, like that grunt.
Send in the green shirts. Send in the green shirts.
The just came out. It's a nice figure. He came with a lot of stuff. I got to put him on my list because he's a lot better looking than I thought he would be. But I mean, the whole 1982 wave was just basically green shirt dudes and Snake Eyes.
Yeah, the original line it was just like, we'll call this guy Zap, we'll call this guy Grunt, we'll call this guy Duke.
Yep.
The generic, like, I don't know, whatever generic code names like come up. But getting into the newer stuff, you're gonna be broke next year, Rob. I swear to God. Swear to
I already
God.
am. Gonna keep the theme going in the new year.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm actually like, kind of working on 3D printing a 112 vamp or Stinger right now. And and then I saw this and I was like, oh, all right, well, whatever. I'll see if I can find one at a decent price, man. But these are what? And these are these going to be Hasbro's or are these going to retail?
I think they're retail.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was pretty sure they were going to retail, but I haven't heard like, I haven't heard any kind of price point for them though. Like I bet you, if that N1 Starfighter is $169 Canadian, I bet you these are going to be like 180 to $200 at Toys R Us a piece, man. Well, I don't know what.
Wow, you can't go by Toys R Us. They're finally sorting out their pricing, but they were always $20 higher than everybody else for some reason for a while there. Now they're finally down to earth. But these will be high. You get a full 6-inch.
That or it's going to be like the Trouble Bubble though. So you may have to just pre-order it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But I didn't think that was like a bad addition. Like when now they're starting to knock off like those those smaller figures or whatever, or smaller vehicle sets. And then just real quick, we're gonna kind of like, because I'm pretty stoked on like what's coming up here. Like I was like, I saw this one and I was like, oh yeah, masthead, big boa, finally.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Finally, we got a big boa. Do you guys know the whole story behind this figure?
That he was supposed to be Rocky, the Cobra Gym
boxing
trainer.
The original G.I. Joe line, you know how they had the fridge and Sergeant Slaughter? Well, they tried to get the licensing and stuff to have Rocky be a G.I. Joe figure. And this was going to be his counterpart on Cobra was Big Boa. So they played off that whole Rocky Balboa thing. So it was Rocky and Big Boa. And that was like the whole kind of play on that whole, but then end up never ever getting like the licensing to do the actual Rocky thing at all. No. And then this one I was stoked for too, man. And then as far as the announcement go, like the whole time I collected 3 3/4 G.I. Joe, I could never ever find this figure. I never ever got this figure in 3 3/4. But no, definitely
it's taken this long. I'm still shocked that it's taken this long to get quick kick out. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Huge fan favorite. He should have been done like last year.
He should have been out when Shipwreck around that time.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like big time.
Does he come with did I see a candy bar as an accessory?
Yeah.
Or is that
there's a whole thing on the old card? No, I think it was a candy bar because what was the name of the candy bar? It's in the old cartoon, he is apparently like a stuntman, does commercials, and comes across the G.I. Joe team, and they recruit him, but he's like talking about singing the jingle from this Fudgy Bar song, and Bazooka's like eating these chocolate bars. They're like the most disgusting thing ever, but like Bazooka loves them, and it's a whole cartoon little play they have. And then
that fire sentence is the 80s. That's just pure 80s right there.
Yep.
He was a stuntman that got recruited for an elite military force.
Why not?
That's like every Chuck Norris movie ever made. But no, I was just stoked that they're finally coming out with the Techno Viper, man. I love this color palette. I love this figure. I always have. It's like a great figure. But these are all 3D renders, so I'm hoping that they actually turn out to be like at least close to what is like, going to be the actual figure. But there's so many like good ones coming out. Like we finally get Recondo. That's who that is, right? I didn't just make a fool of myself.
No, it's plain Recondo, not Tiger Force. It's been kicking around for ages now.
And he's got a coupe.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, just so it's like a theme that they're following, I guess. And then the other one that I actually, yeah, the original character that they made for the 25th line, not her. I actually did not look at the right figure. Is that where is it? It is not in this list of pictures, but I was really stoked that they were finally coming out with that. I think it was Agent Helix or whatever,
Oh yeah.
and the rest of the Dreadnoks. Like they're finally coming out with was it Buzzer and Torch, and is that it for now, or are they coming out with another one?
No, that's it for now. They've got the other ones in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's got. Yeah, I thought they already came out with that Xandar or whatever, but I was like totally wrong. I keep seeing this guy. There's another guy who's kind of in the community. He does. What is that guy's name? I'll have to give you the thing, but he's already got like all of the Dreadnoks plus Zartan's daughter, like all in 6-inch scale. And it's like, is it Syndicate Customs? Is that who it is, Famine? I think it is Syndicate Toy Customs on Instagram. Yeah. But he does most of the 6-inch
I saw those. Those
look
incredible.
Yeah, dude. Like he sells the 3D resin prints for the heads. He's already got like Ninja Force Zartan. Like he's already got all the Dreadnoughts. Like I'm just like, holy crap, man. Like it's nuts. But there is a lot of stuff coming out, and I think now that the line's kind of like, I guess you would say established. Like there's multiple like successful HasLabs. Like people are like getting more and more into this. Like I was totally wrong. Like when I started into it, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think this line's gonna last like another year or so. But yeah, man, I was like completely wrong. I didn't realize it was like.
I think a lot of it's they course corrected off that first wave where they were like heavy in the sci-fi with all the Nerf guns, and I think a lot of consumers were pretty vocal about that. That's not really what they were looking for, and I mean, people still bought it, but kind of griped about it as collectors do, and then they started to pick. We never complain about anything.
I've been in the live stream chats for Hasbro events. I've never seen a complaint.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've never seen a complaint answered, but
Well, I don't know. You kind of got to.
I think that's a big part of it. Is they've actually listened to a lot of the feedback and try to incorporate it, and you can see. I think in the design direction is really kind of resonating with collectors. I think they still need to address the exclusivity issue, which has kind of plagued them from the Cobra Island days, and they're still trying to push exclusives down everybody's throats, and making it harder and harder for people to buy because like, oh, this figure's only at Target or this one's only on Hasbro Pulse. And it's still pushing people out.
For all the griping though that people do about Hasbro, like if you honestly think about it, like I don't know, I don't think they're too into Marvel Legends right now because I think they know that line is like sort of fading away. And I'm like
that, but they're doing a giant man HasLab.
It's not gonna get funded, dude. It's crawling right now.
Yeah, I see it's not really moving, but like
no, it's not moving at all.
That might tell them whether or not they do it.
I think the world's just superheroed out, man. Like I know I am. I'm like pretty burned out on superheroes in general. Like just all the movies that came out. Like that, like
I'd say like 6 months ago, I was still trying to collect picking up Transformers, Marvel Legends, some of these Indiana Jones figures, and right now I've just stopped everything. Like I just have no interest in anything except GI Joe right now.
I've slowed way down. Like the only Transformer I've got in my sights right now is that Commander Class Ultra Magnus, just because I've wanted a perfect Magnus for like ever. But yeah, like my Transformers purchases have gone to zero. My Legends have gone pretty much to zero, except for the odd one here and there. And the only other one that really keeps me in is DC Multiverse, just because they've got a great price point and there's not too much of an issue getting product.
Oh yeah, totally. I can totally get that. Like when with Legends, like I started kind of diverting my funds, but no, I don't know. It's a little different perspective. Like I don't know. Famine knows what I'm talking about when we're making our own toys, right? But we do that where, and that's one thing I was gonna say is like Hasbro must be listening in some respect because the G.I. Joe classifieds have gotten a lot better, and their Star Wars vintage collection figures, some of those like newer releases are like hammering it out of the park, man. Like I mean, they're starting to do cloth goods on their 3 3/4 figures, like. The sculpts are just as good, if not better, than their 6-inch Black Series figures. Like, so I think in some respects, that's why I say I think Hasbro knows that superheroes are kind of burning out in society in general. Like everybody's kind of just heroed out on this stuff. So I think that's why they're focusing in these other lines that are picking up a little more steam. Because really, like with Marvel Legends, how many Wolverine? We don't need more Wolverines or Captain Americas or Iron Mans. We have them all.
I think they hurt themselves really bad too by relying on that Bucky Cat buck for so long. If you take a look at your Legend shelf, how many figures are on that same Bucky Cat buck that was just worn out, it's out of date, and they kept releasing new figures or repaints of old figures that already had a superior body mold previously, and it's like they kept doing that to the point where collectors are like, well, I'm not going to buy one until you guys release a new buck. So they came out with a new master buck for everything, and then they still release figures on that old Bucky mold.
I was gonna say that, yeah. When they came out, they would just push the Vulcan mold, the Vulcan buck they came out with. Look, it's pinless. It's like it's a new design, but we're still gonna release everything on the old buck.
From now on, all female figures are going to come with double jointed elbows. They're going to have pinless technology, and then they release figures that have single joint and pins. You can't do that. They won't finish off a lot of the teams because they like to they like to tease that along, and it's great for like people that are super into having a complete set of those characters. But like you said, people are starting to kind of wise up with certain things and just make their own figures. Like go and buy a 3D print and put it on the right body, paint it themselves, commission somebody to paint it, and then they've got their complete set of Reavers. They've got their Uncanny X-Men team that they want, and it's wild. I'm just like you guys. I stopped collecting Marvel Legends just because it became a race to get the product because it was impossible to get the stores, and FOMO. Like I was buying shit that I didn't even want because, I wanted to make sure that I had the complete wave to have the complete wave because everybody else did. Yep. Now there's like two on my radar. One is the Matt Murdock figure from Spider-Man because I love Charlie Cox and I want to support that. And then the Kingpin figure because I love Vincent D'Onofrio and I want to have that on my shelf. Oh, that's the one. That's my man right there.
Yep.
But I want to have those, and that's going to be, I think it's going to be it for me because I've already got the figure from the Netflix show of Daredevil, and I actually have some of the statues instead of the figures. I have some of the, I think not that they're not Diamond Select. I know that's wrong, but one of the nicer companies, they made statues of all the Netflix Avengers shows, so I have those, and I'm like, I'm really content with that versus having the figures, but I do have to show a little bit of love to the live action TV shows because they honestly they need it and those people deserve it. And why wouldn't I want a tiny Vincent D'Onofrio on my desk?
Right?
Everyone should have one.
Totally.
That's what I'm saying.
But so we're going on the hour here now, but I want to thank everybody for coming out, checking out the stream, watching it later, doing their thing. I want to thank Rob and Scott for coming out and Famine for stopping by. But,
thanks for letting me invade.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm sure we'll do this in another few months, and it'll be like another 65 figures to talk about. I'm sure if we talked about everything, we'd be here till midnight, and that's not going to happen. But yeah, thanks, guys, for coming out, and thanks for anyone that's watching and watching it post. Cheers. Take it easy.